Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny Robertson, founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. I'm here to share the speaker portion of our Connections Over Coffee gathering of the On Purpose Woman Global Community. Ellen Koronet is speaking about playful entrepreneurship. Ellen Kay is an applied anthropologist, creativity engagement specialist, corporate strategist, and marketing methodologist with decades of experience designing ways to bypass habitual thinking. Ellen's systems and tools facilitate the collection of opinions that explain and predict behavior and truly differentiate the brand, all while having game filled fun. And Ellen, you're on.
Thank you so much. I'm going to start by sharing my screen. Thanks everybody for being here. So, uh, what I'm all about is shaking things up a little bit. Let's bring ourselves to, I don't know if we're all muted or not. If everybody could mute, that would help. Thank you, except for me. Okay, hello. So we're going to shake things up a bit. We're going to bring some fun into everything we do. And this is because I really have found in the close to 40 years I've been in business that the old ways aren't serving us anymore. I think all of us here today and watching this feel there's something just really kind of moving away from that tried and true old way of stepping through marketing tactics and careers and so on. And what we're really trying to do, or what I'm doing in the world, is breaking down those ways of looking at each other and those boxes that we put ourselves and our clients and our coworkers in. And this is all about compassion and moving forward that way. So, gamification, what the heck is it? It's been around for quite some time. It is a humanizing strategy. And by this, I mean that when we bring ourselves more into an interaction and we end up having some fun with it, this is magnifying our sense of joy, which is a really high vibration kind of an energy, right? So, why not spread that while talking about the brilliance that one of our OPW members talked to us about today so brilliantly, that is part of who we are. So it could be your brilliant self. It could also be your well crafted product or your expertise, your unique thing that you're doing in the world, right? And what we are really aiming for when we are gamifying anything that we do is, and this is really very much part of what I do and what I've been doing in all these years. The idea of getting the way we're expected to think and the way we're used to thinking, and that sort of logical, very important, very beautiful way of thinking, get it to go quiet sometimes and move over into the inspired way of thinking and into the beyond the expected to really end up with a lot more than we ever could have imagined. So I in 2013, after working with Andrea Hyland in Heal My Voice to publish a few of the stories in her beautiful anthologies, I ended up creating this whole process that took the idea of focus group moderating internally. That's a whole nother discussion. But what I want to introduce to you today is another game, or a game that we can play. And you can do this kind of game as a sort of an internal exercise or as part of a group exercise. It can be part of meetings, anything like that, where you're taking a card deck or a prompt and you're asking people to think about it, talk about it. So we're going to use my card deck today, and it's based on the idea that we have inner mentors, which is what I call sort of that logical thinking, that are dedicated to getting things done. They've got our back. They're not bad. They just get in the way sometimes because we get so stuck on them. And then we have our inner muses who are holding more of the wisdom of creativity and inspiration and that natural kind of, and it's sort of the yin yang of thinking, or yin yang of styles. And these are in the deck. I created 16 archetypal pairs so they go together. So I'm going to show you 3 of them. And what I want you to think about today is in order to invite an inner muse, we're going to start by taking a look at 3 inner mentors. And what I want you to do is just pick out one of these that is making you a little bit uncomfortable in some way. Now, for some people, when I ask this question, and I usually do it with 5 cards at a time, they can't think of anything. They all sound great because we start with what I want from the world, or what I want today, or some sort of an aspiration, and everything is kind of serving that. So that's cool. But there may be something about one of these pictures that makes you kind of go, what's that doing there? Or I don't understand why that picture was taken that way, or I don't like that color. Anything like that. So whatever there is that's a little bit uncomfortable, focus on that one. And the 3 cards that I put up, in case it's not really easy to see, are number 16, which is health and thriving, number 7, it's in Roman numerals, security or safety, and then number 8, which is rules and respect. So if you can zero in on one of those, we're going to go and flip it over now. Are you ready? Ready, go. Okay, so if you picked number 16, the complement to that would be well-being and stillness. So the idea is, if there was something about that thriving and health that was a little bit uncomfortable, what you can do is just flip that over to its complement, which in the case of the research that I did ended up being a kind of an inner well-being, an inner stillness, rather than that outer health and thriving. And then the second one I put up there was number 7, which was security and safety. So this one's kind of an obvious complement, right? If you're stuck on worrying about keeping the doors locked and staying inside and being careful and, oh my God, I gotta be safe, right? If you do that too much, you no longer get the benefits of being safe. So you want to flip that one over to taking risks, to going out and exploring, to being curious, to adventure. And the third one I put up was rules and respect, or rules and response was one of those. It was the dunes on the beach. So instead of that, we can allow whatever comes up to come up. And that flower is actually growing out of a brick. Who would have thought that you could grow a flower in a brick? But there's just enough air in that brick, and there was just enough nutrient in that brick that the water was able to seep in and allow the flower to grow. So that is one example of a sort of a game you can play internally or externally or with a group. And the idea is to find ways to shake things up. Now, when we're working with a business, or we're working with a workshop or a coaching group or whatever it is that you're working with, the whole idea of gamification in my mind is that we are inviting curiosity. And these are all principles of creative facilitation. These are all principles of improv, which one of our members here today has been talking about. Curiosity, empathy, and then insight, which will come out of this sort of iterative process of allowing curiosity and empathy to really play together in your work. So the business of curiosity, empathy, and insight can be done impersonally or digitally. It needs to be easy. You need it to be sort of quick and simple for people to pick up on. So I like to do my gamification automatically. I like to use automation to get it so that it's a quick click if you're doing it digitally, and they get their insight, their answer, their game, their satisfaction. It's motivating because there's a payoff or reward. So this is a principle of gamifying your business. You want to make something, you want to offer something out there that gives some sort of a payoff. It's fun because you can win and you get bragging rights. And we played a game before we started this discussion today, or this presentation today, and it really was fun. because we were trying to come up with something that nobody else would think of. So it gives you a sense of accomplishment. And I would say both groups, even though maybe one was, both groups were winners. It doesn't have to be one take all, winner take all. It can be an everybody wins kind of a proposition. And then it's branded and unique and therefore differentiating. So this is a way to stand out. So, to gamify your way through the business world, you want to do basically three things. And this is really based on the work that I've been doing for the last 18 years. Amplifying that engagement with your most motivated and motivating prospects. So, we need to find a way to find those people out there who are like minded with you. So, you start with your own empowered passion in your own business. So if you're not starting from a place where you're really excited and energized and you realize the importance of what you've discovered or developed or curated, then you're not going to be able to connect with those people out there who want exactly what you have. And so, and actually, when I sit down with my clients in order to build really great lead magnet quizzes, which is the third part there, automating your lead generation, finding it an easy way to get the word out so that the right people will resonate with what you're saying. I often tell my clients, don't figure out who you're talking to until you've got a really good idea why you want to talk to them. Because if you start with your impassioned purpose in there, and it's not that hard to drill down to it, it just takes a little bit of concentrated effort. So when you pull out those things that are really exciting, then you're going to be broadcasting to the people, and it could be somebody out there that you never would have thought of. So don't define your clients too much before you've really taken a good look at where you're coming from. So ways that you can gamify your business are icebreakers, like the one that we did before we came on to this presentation. And so this could be any kind of a game. It could be a, how many people have done these 5 things. It could be there's so many icebreakers. There are some really great websites out there that actually have a lot of sharing going on. So feel free to ask me for that. And then I like to use lead qualifier magnets, knowledge testers, and content builders to really broadcast the message of my clients. And then you can also use things like member sites. You can have things going on within your member site or in your Facebook groups or your social media groups, which leads right into challenges and things like that. And then I have a client who actually creates very specifically branded games for businesses. So there's so many different ways to do it. But what runs through it all is the story. So it's all about that, finding that thread and that arc that brings people through. I put up the hero's journey, which was developed by Joseph Campbell, who is a fellow anthropologist. Actually one of the first big anthropologists who really started to bring us into this whole idea of an internal and an external way of expressing our stories. So that is just one thing to keep in mind, that whenever you're creating a communication out and you're working with your clients, and even when you're working internally, there's always this arc of the call to the adventure, the discovery, finding the helper, and then coming back around and learning something and spiraling on into the world. So don't even know what time it is, but I am right near the end of this, which is great because we have time to chat afterwards if you'd like. But up and coming next, I'm going to be taking what I just presented today to a whole other level. I'm doing this as part of a group that I am involved with called the Marketing Trust. And we are about 6 or 7 different companies that all do different various kinds of marketing. And we provide these deep dive workshops for the member groups, but also for the public are welcome to come in to these deep dive workshops. And I'm doing one next Tuesday at 1 p.m. And you can sign up at this link, which is right through my scheduler, and you'll find this description on there to learn more about the benefits of differentiating your brand through gamification. So thank you all very much, and I will stop sharing and we can chat. Ginny is muted.
Yeah, I
So
couldn't find myself on here. Let me unpin you, Ellen, and I'm going to wrap up here, and then we will talk quietly amongst ourselves. Okay. So I want to thank you, Ellen. That was brilliant as usual. I just kept you in the big picture because everybody wants to see you some more, I'm sure. And thank you to anyone who's watching this live or is watching the replay. If you'd like to join us for one of our 11 free Zoom gatherings a month or an in-person in Richmond, Virginia or Charlottesville, Virginia, comment below and I'll tell you how to do that. You can also go to my website, opwgc.com, and find out all about our community. Thank you.